Hey all, it's David Ducker coming back at you. Today, I'm going to be talking about campaign prep. Specifically, the prep that I've been doing for our next campaign. We haven't finished God of Damarung yet, but we're moving forward. And, it won't be too long until we are finished. So I've begun prepping our next campaign. So let's try this step by step. Step one. So I have my big list of campaigns I'd like to run. In this case, they're all either modern or superhero or sci-fi, because we just did a medieval campaign, swords. That's how I categorize things: swords and guns. So we're doing swords now. So the next campaign will have no swords; it'll only be guns. So any campaign with guns will be fine. So I made my big list of campaigns I have prepped to, or that I have ideas for that I can run. I sent that out to the players, and I asked, what do you want next? Let's all vote, and we'll come together and we'll see what's going to be the best thing. And I didn't really get any strong responses. I got a lot of, whatever you run, I'd love to be involved in. I'd love to participate. Whatever you're doing, I want to be there. I got a lot of that. I didn't get any really specific responses, though. They said, these all sound good. They said. So I was thinking, well, I've had so much fun and success with this Facebook group, with the, I think it's just called still Return of the Runefangs on Facebook. As far as the search bar goes, but we've got hundreds and maybe not 200, but at least 100 character portraits, and we've got the maps up there, and we've got all the notes for the setting up there, links to all the different Warhammer wikis, because we're using the Warhammer setting, not their system, but their setting. So I had so much success with that, and everybody's theme songs. I got dozens and dozens of theme songs for characters. Plus, we can schedule events for each session, so everybody knows when it is and where it is. So I'm like, well, I definitely want to do another Facebook group because it's so much fun. So I need to select then a genre with lots of art, because the Facebook group is so great for art, and I love art. And I'm like, well, superheroes. If we're using Marvel or DC, there's lots of art, but I don't want to use Marvel or DC. So custom art, hard to find. So then I was thinking, well, what about modern? Like, it's easy to find modern character portraits and such. So that's definitely an option. So what about sci-fi? I'm like, well, I like sci-fi. I really love sci-fi. So I'm looking through and I'm like, oh, sci-fi, we could do, what has the most art? And I'm like, well, it's going to be hard to do custom aliens with art. And our last campaign was this big space opera. Our last sci-fi campaign was a big space opera. And it was actually a little hard to coordinate the distances involved. And it was so big, it's hard to put a limit on the outside of your sandbox when it's so big. So that was another problem, and I'm like, well, what if we just say it's just within Earth's solar system, and there are no aliens. So I'm like, now we get all the sci-fi art. I don't have those problems of scale, and we don't have to worry about the alien art because we're not using aliens. And I was thinking, yeah, this I think that's the way to go, because the art to me is more interesting than the art for a modern campaign. Mostly be like photo references. So that's what I decided to do. Go through with the space opera within the solar system. That way we could have our Facebook group, which is up now actually, Solar Wars. We've only got a few dozen portraits up right now. But of course we'll end up with, I'm sure, maybe not 100. The cast won't be quite as large as God of Damarung, but pretty close to 100 NPCs probably over the life of the campaign, with their portraits and theme songs. But of course, we got all the great ships and space stations and guns and power armor, and there's so much wonderful art in there. And so that's already up at Solar Wars on Facebook. You can go give it a like if you want. Keep track of all the goings on there, and most importantly, steal all the portraits for your own game. But that's basically how we decided on the genre. That was our kind of creative flow process. I think I'm going to leave this up there. I'll do another video about the next step in setting design.